U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is ready for a diplomatic and strategic tour of the Indo-Pacific, with planned visits to Hawaii, Guam, the Philippines, and Japan. This trip, announced by Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell, aims to strengthen alliances, regional security, and a free and open Indo-Pacific in the wake of rising tensions in the South China Sea. The visit comes at a time of unprecedented U.S. cooperation with like-minded nations in the region, as Washington seeks to counter China's increasing assertiveness while assuring its allies of continued U.S. support. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth will depart early this week for a trip to Hawaii, Guam, the Philippines, and Japan to meet with senior U.S. military and civilian leadership and participate in a series of bilateral meetings. These engagements will drive ongoing efforts to strengthen alliances and partnerships towards a shared vision for free and open Indo-Pacific. Now, let's take a deeper dive into the significance of this tour. Hegseth will begin his trip in Hawaii, where he will meet with senior civilian and military leaders of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Indo-PACOM discussions will focus on current security challenges, military readiness, and strategic initiatives in the region. The next stop is Guam, a key U.S. military outpost in the Pacific. Hegseth will tour military installations, receive briefings on force posture and defense capabilities, and evaluate logistical and operational preparedness in case of regional conflict. Pete Hegseth is set to visit Manila for high-level meetings with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro, and senior military officials. The discussions will focus on strengthening the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, increasing military aid and defense cooperation to enhance the Philippine Armed Forces readiness, and addressing China's escalating aggression in the South China Sea. The meetings will also explore security measures to enhance deterrence against Beijing's maritime expansion. As part of his visit, Hegseth will meet with U.S. and Philippine military personnel, observe joint military exercises, and support the depth of the defense partnership between the two nations. Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez, described Hegseth's visit as a strong message to China about the solid alliance between Washington and Manila. Talks will include discussions on China's increasing assertiveness in the South China Sea and the Trump administration's new commitments to strengthen support for Philippine security forces. During a recent phone call with Teodoro, Hegseth emphasized the U.S.'s strong commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty, highlighting its vital role in maintaining regional security. Pentagon spokesperson John Oliot stated that the two leaders agreed on the importance of re-establishing deterrence in the South China Sea by working closely with allies and partners. They also discussed enhancing the capabilities of the armed forces of the Philippines. In the wake of growing territorial disputes between Chinese and Philippine forces, the U.S. has repeatedly warned that any armed attack on Philippine troops, vessels, or aircraft in the South China Sea would invoke its defense commitments under the treaty. The final leg of the tour will be in Japan, where Hegseth will attend a ceremony marking the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima, hold discussions with Japanese leaders on regional security, U.S.-Japan defense cooperation, and threats posed by China and North Korea, meet with U.S. military forces stationed in Japan to support America's commitment to the alliance. Hegseth's visit comes ahead of the 2025 Balikatan military exercises, the largest joint U.S.-Philippines drills to date, reflecting heightened regional tensions and evolving security challenges. These shoulder-to-shoulder exercises will feature live-fire drills near the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait, sending a clear deterrent message amid China's maritime assertiveness. The naval exercises will focus on countering Chinese incursions, enhancing operational coordination, and improving joint military readiness in contested waters. Recognizing the changing nature of modern warfare, Balikatan 2025 will also include cybersecurity and intelligence sharing initiatives, strengthening both nations' ability to counter hybrid threats and improve situational awareness. The expansion of these exercises in scale and complexity signifies deepening U.S.-Philippine security alliance and their shared commitment to regional stability and defense preparedness. Hegseth's visit to the Philippines will strengthen the U.S. commitment to Indo-Pacific security. a key element of Washington's strategy to deter aggression and maintain regional stability, particularly as China grows more assertive. At the heart of this commitment is the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, which remains the foundation of bilateral security ties. Discussions during the visit will likely focus on expanding military assistance, intelligence sharing, and strengthening Philippine defense capabilities. A major aspect of this cooperation is the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, under which the U.S. has invested heavily in developing military sites in the Philippines. These sites allow for a greater rotational U.S. troop presence and pre-positioned military assets, improving deterrence and rapid response capabilities. Furthermore, the U.S. continues to provide significant foreign military financing, FMF, particularly for maritime security and counterterrorism, ensuring that the alliance remains strong despite concerns about Washington's long-term regional engagement during the America First era. The South China Sea dispute remains a major flashpoint, with China's increasingly aggressive actions escalating tensions, especially with the Philippines. While Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan also challenge China's sweeping territorial claims, the most serious clashes have occurred between Manila and Beijing. A prime example is China's harassment of Philippine resupply missions to the Second Thomas Shoal, where Chinese Coast Guard vessels have used water cannons and dangerous maneuvers to block Filipino ships. The U.S. has reaffirmed its ironclad commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty time and again, making it clear that any armed attack on Philippine vessels or personnel in the South China Sea would trigger U.S. defense obligations. The expansion of EDCA sites and joint military exercises further strengthens deterrence, ensuring that the Philippines is not alone in facing China's maritime challenges. The South China Sea's strategic importance makes the risk of miscalculation and conflict a major concern for both regional and global stability. Pete Hegseth's visit to the Philippines sends a strong geopolitical message to China, reaffirming the U.S. commitment to its regional allies and its determination to counter Beijing's expanding military influence in the Indo-Pacific. This visit is part of a broader U.S. strategy aimed at strengthening deterrence measures, which include expanding military assistance to the Philippines and Japan, increasing the scale of joint exercises like Balikatan, and enhancing intelligence sharing efforts, especially in maritime security. However, Beijing has strongly opposed U.S. involvement, insisting that the South China Sea disputes are internal regional matters and warning that American military presence only fuels instability. The Taiwan issue further escalates tensions as China continues to assert its claim over the island and threaten military action if necessary. In response, the U.S. is deepening its regional alliances, including AUKUS, to deter any Chinese aggression against Taiwan, recognizing its strategic significance. The growing rivalry between Washington and Beijing, marked by rising rhetoric and military maneuvers, highlights the fragile balance of power in the Indo-Pacific, where both sides are competing for dominance. Pete Hegseth's visit to the Philippines marks a significant moment in U.S. foreign policy, especially in light of the Trump administration's America First approach, which previously raised doubts among Indo-Pacific allies about Washington's long-term commitment. Unlike the unilateral and transactional diplomacy of the past, Hegseth's trip serves as a clear reassurance that the U.S. remains fully engaged in the region and committed to its alliances. This visit also reflects a broader shift towards strengthening regional partnerships, particularly with the Philippines and Japan, through expanded military cooperation and strategic coordination. This renewed focus is evident in key defense initiatives, such as the expansion of Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA sites, the intensification of joint military exercises like Balikatan, and enhanced intelligence sharing partnerships. The U.S. has also provided over $100 million in foreign military financing to the Philippines in recent years, demonstrating its commitment to strengthening deterrence capabilities and boosting regional security. These measures are designed not just to fortify U.S.-Philippines relations, but also to send a strong signal to China that Washington remains a central player in the Indo-Pacific's evolving security landscape. Ultimately, this strategic recalibration highlights the Indo-Pacific's growing significance in global security, as the U.S. counters China's rising influence through military presence, defense agreements, and multilateral partnerships. By reinforcing its commitments and deepening cooperation with regional allies, the U.S. aims to ensure long-term stability and prevent any power vacuum that could embolden Beijing's ambitions. Thank you for tuning into our channel. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues.